Our guest today is Tammy Koelling, the driving force behind Words Matter Publishing Media Network. Join us for insights that will spark your curiosity and leave you yearning for more. Authors like you've never seen them before, only on Books with Bridgetti. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Introducing Books with Bridgetti, a lineup of industry experts, award-winning authors and talented indie authors. Buckle up for an unparalleled journey with us. Meet exceptional authors celebrated globally for their captivating narratives. Our authors craft imaginative stories that stay etched in your mind long after the final page. It's not just stories, it's lingering experiences that stay etched in your mind. Our authors share the inspirations that create mesmerizing page-turning stories. Journeys that embody resilience, that turn setbacks into stepping stones, rejections that spark growth, and hurdles that become a catalyst for creativity. From dramas, mysteries, fantasies, children's stories to reality stories, join us as we delve into the inspiration behind the story. Discover how authors breathe life into characters and meticulously craft plots that keep you turning the page. But wait, there's more. We share stories from indie authors as well as Amazon and New York Times best-selling authors. Get ready for an interview that'll have you on the edge of your seat. Stay tuned. Join us only on Books with Bridgetti.
If you're just joining us, then a hearty warm welcome to Books with Bridgetti. Our live stream is made possible by StreamYard and Be Live Media. And in today's show, we're going to be talking to Tammy Koelling. She is the CEO of Words Matter Publishing Multimedia Network. Authors like you've never seen before, only on Books with Bridgetti. Now, if you've never met Tammy before, she is an award-winning best-selling author and visionary entrepreneur, and she leads the acclaimed Words Matter Publishing Multimedia Network. With multiple WMP branches to juggle, she finds balancing quite a unique approach. She has combined walking with working. Her remarkable weight loss journey inspired her book, Walking My Ass Off, offering practical insights and transforming lives worldwide. And beyond her amazing writing skills, Tammy is a sought-after life and business counselor and motivational speaker who empowers others to embrace change and unlock their full potential. So, let me welcome my amazing guest to join me in the studio. Tammy, welcome. I am so glad that we finally have the opportunity to welcome you onto the show today. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It is such an honor to be here. I'm super excited.
Fantastic. I'm going to jump right in because I think, we've got a whole lot to talk about, and you've got so much to share. So I'm going to start off by asking you, what inspired you to start Words Matter Publishing Multimedia Network, and how has it evolved over the years since you started it?
Well, thank you for asking. Great question. I worked as a ghostwriter for some of the larger publishing houses for many, many years, and I kind of noticed some things with the publishing industry as I got my feet wet in it that I really didn't like, and I wanted to make a change. And all of a sudden, I got a phone call that my mother, who was in her 90s, could no longer live alone. So I packed up everything, walked away from my job, and moved to the little small town that I grew up in. And after getting things situated with my mother, I said, well, I've always said if I had an opportunity to do what I really wanted to do, I would start a publishing house. And that was the launch of Words Matter Publishing.
Wow, what an amazing story. And, sometimes we just need a little push in the right direction and we get started with something that turns out incredibly well, which Words Matter Publishing absolutely has. Now, as both an accomplished author and an entrepreneur, how do you balance the creative aspects of writing and the business side of publishing? Because they're both quite hectic.
They are. They are. I unfortunately I've had very little time to do much writing on my own. I'm so busy publishing everybody else's books and promoting everybody else's books, our authors, that I take very little time for my own writing or my own promotional for my books. I do have a very unique setup. Long before COVID ever happened, I was working out of the home so I could take care of my mother. And I just continued with that. So pretty much I work around the clock. That's how I juggle everything.
A lot of people talk about work-life balance, and I really don't think that it exists. I don't think that perfect balance exists for everyone. I think one really just you can only do your best. That's all you can with the circumstances that life hands you, because life happens at the most unexpected times, and we just have to roll with the punches, and that's what we do. Have you had any memorable experiences or challenges managing multiple branches of Words Matter Publishing?
Well, it's all challenging, and we are creating a very unique network of businesses. As I launched the publishing house, I realized, the challenges of working with brand new authors who did not have author platforms. So, of course, we started working with, helping them build their author platforms, but that still wasn't enough exposure. So one day I got a phone call that said, we're watching you, you're live. You should talk to us about, you should consider television. And I said, what do you mean television? And they said Roku and Amazon Fire TV. And I said, oh my gosh, way over my head. I just was blown away by even that concept. And they said, when you figure it out, you call us back. And they gave me, I started researching what it would cost for me to place commercial ads on television for even one of our authors or the books. And I was like, wow. But if you owned your own network, that would be a different story, wouldn't it? So I did. I got involved with, that's when we expanded out to a multimedia network. I now produce, I have 19 channels on Roku, and I produce those. I'm the network producer for those shows, and we're adding more every year. But the goal there is to get exposure for our authors, to put commercials with each content creator or program that we host. We have an agreement with that we would be able to put a commercial for one of our authors in their programming. So quite a unique approach to advertising.
That is absolutely amazing, and congratulations on slaying that beast, as they say. That is quite massive. Now, something interesting that I've learned from interviewing so many authors over the years is that they say your book is as good as your editor. So how do you approach editing and revision process for the books that you publish? And do you have any advice for prospective authors who want to get published?
Well, my writing mentor was none other than Jerry B. Jenkins. Jerry B. Jenkins is a well-known, best-selling author for the Left Behind series. And, he taught me no unnecessary words. If the word doesn't move the storyline or the dialogue forward, if it doesn't enhance, get rid of it, cut it out. And that's probably hard for authors. They don't like killing this great paragraph that they've crafted only to realize, what does it do for the story? Does it enhance my character? Does it enhance my story? Does it move it forward? So the best advice I can give is no unnecessary words.
Wow. And that is hard, because I think, as when you pen down words, the whole process of writing is like bearing your soul. So, every single word in your book feels very personal.
It does. It does. I recently had, and she'll shoot me for saying this, but I recently had an author, and we signed her, and I think, she's going all the way. She's going to be a NYT bestselling author. There's no doubt. And she, sent me the blurb that she had written for her back book, and I sent it back. I said, no, I'm not accepting this. She's like, well, this is good. And I was like, no, it's not. It's not good. It's not a hook. It doesn't hook your reader. And we started working on that, and I made her revise that because she's just that good of a writer. She was just being lazy with her back cover blurb, and I made her revise that blurb about 20 times, and it is so tight and so solid now that people that had, seen it before are like, this is a totally different book. So you have to, and now she's so excited about knowing how to create that hook in just a few words that she's doing it for all of the rest of her books.
I know a lot of the sort of really, really, really good authors out there have always said that, people need to be able to hang on to your words and not be able to let go. They must have that sense that they can't wait to turn the page.
Exactly.
And keep them hooked so they'll actually want to stay up all night. Then you've got a good book. When people can't put the book down. So I want to move on a little bit about your own book, Walking My Ass Off. What motivated you to want to share your personal journey?
Well, everybody kept asking me, saying, Tammy, how did you lose this? How did you lose this race? And I was like, well, I'm just walking. They're like, what do you mean? I said, I walk while I work. It's a very simple book. It's what I call the Simple Solution series, because we're all busy and life is busy and so hectic. So it's very few pages of step-by-step how I learned to walk while I worked and shed weight with a walking app solely on my phone. And so everybody's like, you should publish this. You should publish this. It would help people. And I thought, well, if it's going to help somebody, that's fine. There's no shame in saying I walk while I work. So I'm doing text messages, emails, talking to authors. When I'm on the phone, I spend 90% of my day on the phone. So I'm walking. I am walking.
Now, just reading through the book, you were also talking about the other benefits of walking. Like, for example, you lost weight. Was that one of the reasons why you started?
Well, yes, I needed to lose. My day was consumed sitting at a computer. I was, a desk potato, not a couch potato. I was a desk potato, just sitting at a computer. And I was like, I've got to get moving. And I just started noticing I'd picked up weight and I'd picked up weight and I'd picked up weight. And I was like, no, I've got to start moving. I tried some diet plans. They didn't really work for me. I didn't have time to go to the gym. There was no going to the gym. So I was like, what can I do? Well, I can at least walk while I work.
Well, that's an amazing tip. So how do you stay? You've been doing it how long have you been doing it for now?
About 3 years.
3 years. So how do you stay motivated to maintain that regular walking routine? And I think that's probably the hardest part. Maybe not the walking itself, but maintaining that routine. And if you've done it now for 3 years, so what advice would you have for anyone who has a hard time staying with it?
Well, just start. It is such a part of my life now that when I get a phone call in, I just immediately just get up and start walking. It's habit. When the phone comes in, if I've got 15 emails I need to answer, I'm just voice texting them while I'm walking. Now, if it's bad weather, of course, I'm walking inside. And if it's, great weather, I'm walking outside. So it's just a part of my life now. If you just start it, they say it takes 21 days to start a habit. So if you just start it, and I use the Step app. I show you the app in the book. Just download it. You can get the free version of the app, and you start getting motivated when you see those steps and your progress and how many miles you've walked a day. You start really getting motivated. It's a motivational tool in and of itself.
It's interesting though, when I was reading it, I was remembering someone that I know that conducts all his meetings walking.
Mhm.
Like, he'll say to the person, well, we're going for a walk, and they would have their meeting walking. Apparently there's just something stimulating on your brain when you outside walking. I think
It
you think
works.
clearer. So there are lots of benefits or hidden benefits to getting into that habit of walking and maintaining it.
I
So,
it's I'm sorry.
carry
It's
on.
kind of extreme, but there's times where I have fixed myself a little light lunch or something, and I'm walking while I eat. It's kind of extreme, but it's like walking is so therapeutic, and it's such a refresher for my mind that I don't feel right or good if I don't walk.
Now, you mentioned in the book as well that you lost your mom.
Mhm.
How did walking help you?
I was at such a loss, and she was 98, so she had a very long, great life. But I was at such a loss. They say something happens to you when you lose both parents, no matter what your age is. I was at such a loss that I just was kind of just devastated, and I started walking in her house. I was just walking and walking and walking, and I noticed later how many steps I had walked. I'd started this process of walking a little bit before her, and I noticed later how many steps I'd walked. Now, if I would have got up that morning and said I wanted to walk 30 miles, it would have been my mind and my body and everything would have said, no, no, you can't do that. But when I was just in total grief, I just walked and walked and walked, and you have the exact number of steps and how many miles it was in the book, and I screenshot it to show people. But it showed me that walking was a mind over matter type thing.
Hmm.
If you're just working, if you're texting, if you're emailing, if you're reading and proofing a book while you're walking, you're not concentrating on, oh, I got to get 10 more steps in, or I got to get 100 more steps in. You're not concentrating on the act of walking. And it's easier to really just shed those pounds.
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations on your amazing weight loss. I mean, you look really, really great. And for
Thanks.
those of you watching this program, go get the book. It's available on Amazon. Um, and you'll see the huge, I was tempted to show your before and after picture on screen, but I thought, no, I want people to go out and buy your book.
Okay. Well, thank you. I have, since that book came out, I've lost 29 more pounds.
Wow. Oh
So for
my
a total of
goodness.
69 pounds.
Wow. That is absolutely amazing. Congratulations.
Thank
Now,
you.
apart from Walking My Ass Off, which is an amazing book, you've also written some children's books. How did that come about? And tell us a little bit about it.
Well, technically, I am a children's author, and I absolutely love writing for children. There's no greater interest than writing for children, creating these characters that children are going to love. Characters, you get to, when you create a character for a child, you're giving them all of the flavors of life. And just from, I am a Christian, and from a Christian standpoint, when I was creating, one of my favorites that I did was in middle grade, and that's Cody Carpenter. And when I was creating these characters in here, from the children to the adults in the story, I was having so much fun with their personalities, with their speech and their dialect, and their characteristics, their pros and their cons, their weaknesses and their strong points. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can imagine how much fun God has in creating us and giving us all of our characteristics. But I have so much fun with the characters. And then, yeah.
It's something we don't think about, but it's actually such an amazing aspect of creation, the way we are made.
Exactly.
We really
Yes.
are perfectly formed in every way.
We are.
And so that book of Cody Carpenter really brings that out. Now, you also wrote A Champion is Born, where a puppy finds inner strength and courage. Tell us about that.
Well, that is based on a true story of a grand champion Afghan hound and who developed cancer. So I wrote the book for the owners that lost their dog, and it just was, kind of devastating to them. She was a grand champion Afghan hound, had won all kinds of awards, and I thought, well, children need to know that they have the heart of a champion. And so that is what that is delving into. It's not exactly what you do. It's not, how high you climb in life, but, it's that heart that makes you the champion in life.
Absolutely. Now, Rocky, I'm loved even when I'm bad was an interesting title.
Rocky is also a true story. Absolutely true. One of my dear friends, Miss Schwabach, we call her Mrs. S in the book. Rocky is a true story of a rescue dog from an animal shelter who ate her car, her shoes, tore up her house, but she just kept on loving him. And I think it teaches the message that, even when mom gets mad at us, even when we do something bad, it teaches us to a child, we're still loved. And children need to know that. They need to know they're loved even when mom is frustrated, irritated, and upset. They need to know that, hey, even when I spill my milk, I'm loved. Even when I break something, I'm loved. And that's the message that Rocky teaches young children.
That's amazing. Trudy Can Talk introduces a very ordinary dog that's transformed into something extraordinary. What sparked that story?
It's all about belief. It's all about, you have a goal, you have something you want to do in life, just believing, believe that you can and you will. And so Trudy is just an ordinary dog that met an owl, a talking owl, and she was like, she wanted to talk. And he taught her that, you believe, you got to believe with all your heart, and you can do whatever you set your mind to. It's just about believing in your goals, your dreams, and never giving up on them.
Amazing. And then the next book I want to ask you about is Tucker Wilson. Talks about a friendship and loyalty and overcoming adversity. It has lots of adventure and unexpected twists. What's the story behind Tucker Wilson?
Tucker Wilson was actually a homework assignment that I wrote years and years ago, and finally just took the time to publish it. But it was an assignment about, crafting a story about a dog. And I love using animals, teaching a message to children through animals, because they don't get offensive. They don't put up these barriers that this is just an adult trying to teach us. They're learning from the animals in the book. And so it's a more easy method of them absorbing the actual message. But Tucker Wilson is based on a dog going through training, and once a well-trained dog actually saved a town. There is a little bit of truth behind it, but not totally, like A Champion is Born in Rocky.
Amazing. So we're going to take a quick break because we're going to change gears for just a moment.
Okay.
You are watching Books with Bridgetti, a lineup of industry experts, award-winning authors, and talented indie authors, only on 100 TV. Welcome back. You're watching Books with Bridgetti. So I said I'm going to switch gears for just a little bit. Now, you're also a life and business counselor. Are there any misconceptions that people have about pursuing their passions for starting their own business, and how would you approach that?
Well, I try to, work with people and say, what do you want? What do you want? What? The first question is what? What do you want in life? A lot of people contact me about, starting their own business. And I started, at a fairly advanced age, a brand new business, but it's what do you want? One person actually asked me one day, said, my father actually asked me, he was like, what is your legacy? What is the legacy that you're going to leave behind? How will people remember you when you're gone? And what do you want people to remember about you? And most people that are just in a 9 to 5 job, they're working for an employer, they are never fulfilling their vision or their dreams. So when we start talking about, their vision and their dreams, we get down to the nitty gritty. What do you want? Define it. What exactly do you want? And then the very next question is going to be why. Why do you want it? Because if the why isn't big enough, if the why isn't a strong enough reason, they will never follow through. They will never take the steps. The first time there's a mountain to climb or a long journey ahead of them, they're going to back out and say, I'm going back to my job. I'm going back to this. I'm going to stick with what I know. The why has to be big enough. It has to be strong enough to sustain them through all kinds of, problems that they're going to face if they're really trying to walk into their vision and their dream.
Absolutely. I can totally relate to that. Are there any pivotal moments in your career that you feel has shaped your perspective on writing, publishing, or being an entrepreneur?
I think the most pivotal moment for me is I get to do what I like. I'm not working with authors because I have to. I'm working with authors because I want to. I'm not.
And there's a difference.
It is a difference. It's a big difference. I get to help them bring their vision to pass. And it's like that nurse in the delivery room when that baby is born, and they're, when an author gets their book and they're holding it in their hand for the first time. And I always say, hey, it's coming to you in the mail, take a video of it. And the look on their face, that is so rewarding to me. When we take these authors and we work with them and we get their sales up and we get their awards up and they're out there doing book signings and people are standing in line to get their book, they're excited. They feel like somebody's appreciating all the work and the blood, sweat, and tears that went into that book.
Very interesting. Now, I'm going to ask you maybe somewhat of a controversial question. As we're moving forward, it's impossible to ignore the development of technology and in particular AI.
Mm-hmm.
How do you envision the future of publishing, in particular in terms of embracing new technologies and adapting to change and reader preferences?
Well, we love technologies in the publishing industry that make our jobs easier, make them more efficient, enable us to expand our outreach, get more visibility, and for our authors. I was pitched a book recently, and I finally just asked the author, I said, was this AI written? And he said, yes, it was. And I said, I'm not interested. And we're not publishing AI books at this time, AI generated books at this time. And he said, well, why not? Everybody else is. And I said, well, we're not a in the box type publishing house. We are an out of the box type publishing house. We want to still stand alone with, I still believe in authors and I believe in their ability to write. And I believe that there are people in this world that can craft great stories and great characters or present us with great messages and great insight and information that is not AI generated. So we're still working with humans and their brains, not computers and theirs.
And there is a difference, I myself, I also believe that there's a time and a place and a space for technology, and there's a space for AI. But I don't personally think that AI should be generating stories. Those should definitely come from humans. I think the best stories are passed down from generation to generation. And with that, how do you see the role of storytelling to empower people and to foster connection within communities?
Well, that is the key word with Words Matter Publishing is storytelling, Bridgetti. You have really, really hit it on the head. More than writing, it's storytelling. And we look for storytellers because stories matter. They really matter. They somebody tells you a great story, you don't forget it. You don't forget that story. If that story impacted you in a powerful way, it taught you a message. I incorporate when I'm doing public speaking, I do a lot of storytelling, and it's the stories. I talk to people, I see them 6 months after I've done an event, and it's the stories that they remember. Oh, I remember you're the one that told me the story of. It's the stories they remember, and they learn the lesson from the story. And if you turn that into a robotic moment, to have a story that has no emotions, no human connection, haven't we all just kind of become a blank sheet? I think connectivity happens a lot through storytelling. You can
Absolutely. I
people
think,
sitting around
we
a
all want
fire.
that human connection.
Yeah. People sitting around a fire before there was a lot of books out and everything. It goes all the way back, and they're telling stories. They're entertaining each other. And it could be that storytellers back then, they were making the stories up at the time that they went, right around the fire. And it was just great. Probably the greatest storytelling, experiences ever.
Absolutely. Now, we spoke about your children's books earlier, and they explore themes such as resilience, hope, and personal growth. How do you think literature in general can serve as a catalyst for positive change in society?
Well, our tagline is our words change the world. We're Words Matter Publishing. Our words change the world. And as I was birthing out this company, I just prayed a little bit and I said, Lord, what am I doing here? And he's like, Tammy, publish books that'll change the world. I think books still have the ability to change the world, and they change the world one reader at a time. And so I am ever mindful when I'm signing with a new author. I'm ever mindful of the message and what change it can have on the world. Is this going to change things for the better? Is this going to change things for the worse? Are we just going along with what's out there? We like to be trendsetters.
Amazing. I really think you are doing a great job of that. Now,
Thank you.
as a motivational speaker, what key messages do you aim to convey to your audiences, and how do you inspire others to overcome their challenges and pursue their dreams?
I pretty much teach the message of one of my primary is to thrive, not just survive. And pick out that dream, that vision that you have, and no matter what, you go for it. So the messages that really resound with people, really resonate with people, are learning how to thrive, not just survive, and no matter what, I'm going to do this no matter what. And if you can get people into that mindset, that's powerful.
Fantastic. Have you got any initiatives or projects that you're currently excited about with Words That Matter Publishing that you can talk about anyway?
We are launching right now the Publisher's Choice Awards. We're launching this will be an award system that anybody can send their book to. And I'm going to personally review these books. It's not a competition so much as like we're only picking one fantasy fiction or one young adult book. It's every book is going to be judged on its own merits. And, it's a point system. If you get so many points through the judging process, it will be more like a reviewing process. You'll be bronze, so many points makes you silver, so many points makes you gold. And one of the reasons we're doing that is even though, I've got over, well over 100 books published with Words Matter Publishing in the last few years, and several authors all around the world, I still have that desire to help other authors, motorcycle outside, I'm sorry, help other authors that are, not just our authors. And I thought, well, putting a publisher's seal of approval on your book, even if it's not our book that we publish, will help that author. So we've created an amazing program, the Publisher's Choice Awards. It'll be launching very soon. The winners of that will be featured on one of our television shows on Roku and Amazon Fire, on a brand new channel we're launching called The Publisher. They will also be featured in a magazine. So we're going to help authors all over the world get a spotlight. Authors need spotlights. They need to, like, well, you know, because you're helping authors too. But that's our goal, is to help authors all over the world get the spotlight with the Publisher's Choice Awards.
And will that be focusing on any specific genre?
All genres are available. We built out the program. The website is in creation right now. We're going to be launching this by April 1st.
Wow. So where can people find more information on that when it's ready?
Go ahead and, we're still working on that website. It is up. It's the Publisher's Choice Award. You can just go on Words Matter Publishing website right now. We're going to announce it on our website, Words Matter Publishing. It'll be on our Facebook pages, and where people, when that's launched, you're going to see it everywhere. We're going to put it out there. And it's all about exposure. I just have this heart to help other authors get exposure.
Fantastic. So apart from that, do you have any other goals for yourself, or for Words Matter Publishing, just looking further ahead?
Well, we're doing the Publisher's Choice Awards. We're also coming up with a television show that will be kind of like the Shark Tank of publishing.
Wow.
It's going to be called Pitch the Publisher, and where people can come and pitch, and there'll be certain, things that they have to do every week to come back. And it'll be a voting television program, Pitch the Publisher, and it's going to be great fun. I mean,
oh my goodness.
In the pitch, you're going to have to dress up like one of the characters for the fictional. You're going to have to, you just every week you'll have a different task that you have to come forward with, and it'll be just great fun. And we'll let the audience vote for who they think, should get the publishing contract.
So is this going to be an in-person event, a hybrid event, a virtual event?
We're working on that right now. I think to launch, it may be a little bit hybrid. Like we start off with online, a virtual event online, and then we get down to the last final 5 or something. We take it out into a real community event place.
Wow.
It's going to be
very,
fun.
Very interesting. You've got your work cut out for the next while.
I love it. We're going to have you come on and be one of the judges on Pitch the Publisher.
Oh my goodness, how exciting. Very, very, very exciting.
It will be
Tammy,
great fun.
Absolutely. It was so much fun talking to you. How can people connect with you?
Well, it's Tammy at wordsmatterpublishing.com. That's my email. You'll find me on Facebook. You can go on to the wordsmatterpublishing.com website and just, fill out that little contact form. My team will send it over to me. If it's, just says attention Tammy on it, it'll come straight to me. We're always looking, there's a submission form on there, authors that are looking to, be published, maybe for the first time, or maybe they've been self-publishing and they're ready to team up with a team of professionals. You see a submission form on our website. So I think the best way to connect is through the website.
And you do, because, life is virtual. So you basically, I assume, would work with an author regardless of where they are.
Absolutely. We have authors all over the world. We're with one of the biggest distribution networks in the industry, and our books are available all over the world. I have authors in all countries.
And just to reiterate, you are also willing to work with first-time authors.
Absolutely. And you don't have to have an agent to submit. We don't have agented submissions. So feel free to just, on that submission at wordsmatterpublishing.com, feel free to send the first 3 chapters, a little brief synopsis of what you're doing. I don't need a formal query letter. We like the personal approach versus forms. So just send the first 3 chapters. If it's a children's book, give me a little bit of a synopsis about it and just a couple of pages to let me know your writing style.
Awesome. Tammy, thank you so much. And to our amazing audience, we want to say thank you for watching and joining us today. You were watching Books with Bridgetti, and we will see you on the next show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Bye
you for
now.
having me.
Thank you for joining us on Books with Bridgetti. Join us next time for industry experts and award-winning authors only on 100 TV.
All that is
this might be, I've been on over 24 different podcasts and radio shows in the last couple of months. And this has to be one of the most sophisticated, what the kids like to teach called bomb.com shows and presentations that I've ever been on. It's fantastic. Thank you for having me here.
available wherever great books are sold near you.